What got me caving?
Yeah.
Through cycling. I used to be a cyclist, keen cyclist, and we went on one or two holidays, and we finished up, first of all going in some sea caves, and then we were in the youth hospital in St David's Head, and there's some South Wales cavers in there. I showed us some pictures and said, why don't you drop off and have a look? And we went into, I suppose it must have been this first bit of Aggie in those days, because it wasn't gated then. And with our bicycle ramps, and I was hooked. And my cousin that was with me, he never went again. You know, he just wasn't interested, but I was hooked.
Sid, what date and what age were you?
1846. I would have been in about 20.
Okay.
Something like that.
So that was, it was about 1856. No, don't do like old your age.
No,
very well.
I've got to lie about my age, forget now.
Yeah, it was free, you can't.
So how did it transpire from going caving to making films? Because obviously, caving itself is a big challenge. Trying to film in the ground is just upping the level of complication.
You know, the image of caving was so bad at that time, and I used to go up caving, and they wanted to do, because rescue was all the thing, and it actually, Moscow happened just about that time. And you know, all of the press that caving got was bad press, and then I got called in to film Sunset Pop, because none of the cameramen in the BBC would do it, and I went caving and said, could you do camera work for it? And it was such a traumatic experience because the guy died, and I met his brother who was on the lifeline and all this. I said, well, I want to do the positive side, because you knew the positive side that never got in the press. So I said, well, I live in the BBC, and I want to live in our caving hub. And tried to get a contract. They tried to make me go for a job. So kicked me out from getting in Donbury. So I was getting pretty broke. And then I got the job to do the contract to do David Gill. And that set me on my way. And then gradually, one by one, got to do things. And you know, it was a struggle, because I was making my own gear basically. So I was an amateur working for television, you know, and I got so much stick when things didn't work from the cavers. Still do.
What I think you have to mention in there, Alison, see.
Alison, yeah.
Because she came in at that stage, or a bit earlier. And,
when I was doing the Gavin Gill film,
Alison was Sid's wife.
I met Alison, and we finished up getting married.
Was that while you were doing the Gavin Gill film?
It's while I was doing the Gavin Gill film. I met her. She came to actually stay at our paving hut. We invited to a party and so on. But the fact is, not only did she put up with my silly way of life, and me having the living room full of bits of stuff, soldering batteries up and doing this and mud everywhere. Not only that, but she used to really earn the money, because she was a nurse, and she had a regular income. I'd get a load of income, I'd immediately spend it on a little bit of gear, and so I never really made any money most of the time. We just lived off her income, and she was supposed to come to New Guinea with us, and there was a famous press photograph with her with a machete taken somewhere around here, I understand, can't remember, but she couldn't go because we couldn't afford it, because I didn't get backing for the film as I thought I would, and I basically had to use my money to buy film stock to even to be able to go, and you work it out where they have 5.5 months or something like that, and I had was it about 5-6 hours of film. Now trying to spread 6 hours of film and choose the right bits to film over 5.5 months, and easy.
She was arguably the most wonderful wife any caver ever had, with possibly one exception.
Lily, you're very good
They were on a par, and they were good friends.
And she did play a role in the New Guinea trip, because we had a farewell party at the Waterway in the Dales, and we were all bopping away, and John Buchan, our doctor, came down, and running the dance, there was loads of people, and John Buchan came down with a clipboard, and he took right, Willis, upstairs and back up there, and he went up this room, and he walked in, and there was these two women there, one of them was Alison, the other one was either John Buchan's then wife, and right, take your trousers down, roll your sleeve up. We had like 6 injections.
And talking about Sunset Hole, sort of the very first film, what was it like as a whole sort of experience?
We, first of all, were just covering shots of caving and waiting for civil rescue. And one didn't come, and then this one came, and we didn't think it was anything much. Somebody had fallen in Sunset Block. So me and my friend went, and we went just underground with the lights on the camera. And they pulled him up the shaft. He'd fallen off the big shaft. And he was conscious, and I didn't realise he was that badly hurt. It turned out later he had a punctured lung and would have died almost certainly unless they'd really got him to the hospital quick. And in those days, one of the interesting things is it shows the changes in rescue technique. In a stretcher in there, it was nearly impossible to get him around some of the corners. And halfway out, we were filming. I was concerned because I didn't want to make the situation worse for him. But he seemed completely unaware of the light and this. And I made sure I kept out of the way of the rescue. And then suddenly we brought him down out of the roof. And his head went over and he died. And I was completely shocked. I hadn't even considered that possibility. And thought the BBC had said they wouldn't use it if he died. And in fact, they then saw the footage and said, we want to use this. And changed their mind. And talking about the interface, which I was just talking about, television and cables, is that they were lying. Not telling the whole truth to the rescue team, who said, the rescue would just be a little part. And of course we need to do more shots and things like this on the service. And I knew that wasn't the case, and I quietly said to some of the guys, I suspected that wouldn't be the case, and it wasn't. But the film, you have to say, was a very, very strong film, and it does actually, it did actually cause a drop in rescue figures for a while. So, I think it was worthwhile, but it was traumatic for the parents, obviously. It probably still is.
Yeah.
What was the film the BBC's idea?
Yes.
I always thought it was their idea.
Do you remember The Old Man of Foy with Joe Brown and so on, the classic one?
Yeah.
The BBC decided to do a follow-up. And they were going to do it on direct live broadcast. But the cameras were right then, they were enormous. So they decided the only thing was, there was a sort of inside-out Old Man of Foy, Allen Pond. They were going to do it down Allen Pond. But the cables and everything, and the distance they had to transmit signals, it proved impossible. So they decided, I talked to Reg Haynes, the cave rescue were helping, and said, let's do a film about rescue. And that was just before Moscow. Yeah, it was just before Moscow. So Moscow happened between them contracting to do it, and me actually starting filming. So it was a very funny situation to be in, a really difficult situation, being the interface then.
Is there anything you'd change about the film? Or anything you'd do differently now, looking back over it years later?
No.
Bearing in mind the techniques and the equipment you had at the time,
Well,
you were so limited, weren't you?
Yeah, we're very limited. And
if you'd known he was going to die, Sid, would that have made a difference? We probably wouldn't have been there. If you'd known there was a serious chance he was going to die, you probably wouldn't have done it.
No, I mean, you know, it's like hanging off balloons. There's some of the silly things you do that you're so focused, and all you're trying to think of is, I'm not going to get in the way because that's my main priority.
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to upset the rescue. But I've got to get good shots. And you know, you're trying to direct where the light is. So I wasn't really that aware that he was so seriously ill. And what was worse was the producer decided he wanted to interview his brother. And we went over to Middlesbrough. And he didn't want the brother talking to his mother first, because she was said no. So he stopped him on his way home from work to try and do an interview with him. And I was really upset at him and had a big stand-up argument with him in his room with me, in the bedroom of his where we were staying. And I suddenly walked out, slammed the door, went to go to my own room and realised that my coat with the key to my room was locked in his car. So I slept in the bathroom in the hotel that night.
It's slightly typical of us. It's a very
Before, in your presentation, you were talking about the times we didn't have film. So I've heard some of these stories from other people about these exploits. When were the 3 times?
Well, I was involved with one of them. But,
Yeah, I mean,
so I know the true story of that one.
But you're in PSM.
Yeah.
Well, we did get right to the end of PSM to film the shots, and there was no film. But as I say, I don't carry the film. Somebody else carries the film. It's not my job.
The amusing thing in PSM is it was sort of 7 hours to get to where he was starting filming. And I saw him out the corner of my eye going through all his gear. And he got more and more and more panicky. And I thought, there is a big problem
But
here.
it got as far as a PDF up. Not PDF up, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
ADF.
The film did, yeah, didn't it? Well, that was 7 hours away. But I could see that.
I remember my bit was sagging to the up.
But he got more and more embarrassed, and then I could see that he had a big problem, but he didn't want to tell us what it was. So there was this moment's embarrassment, and then he came out with, "Don't worry," he said, "I've forgotten the film, I'll just pop out and fetch it." And we were 7 hours into this cave, he was just going to pop out.
It's a creative reputation.
But some of them are definitely more legend than they are true.
Well, I'm not sure about that. The first time we went out from our base camp on the New Guinea trip, we walked out the telephone in and through the forest and down into the Subin Gorge and up the other side, stayed the night in a ravine. And we were surrounded all the time. There were hundreds of local people from the village looking in the hut door. Kids woke up next morning and everybody went off and Sid went. And then we looked around and there's a piece here and a men's cap there and something like that. We picked up sort of half a tackle bag from the gear that Sid had left lying around in his house. You will deny this, of course.
Yes.
Lots of bits of cameras, lens caps and all sorts of other stuff.
Yeah, where was it?
It was sitting around in the hut in a rack after you'd gone.
Yeah.
So we had this unofficial sweep after Sid all the time. Sid would go and we'd all look.
It just shows my focus on the film.
Absolutely.
Nobody doubts that. I mean, ruthless is another word. Which nobody believes it.
The fact that you weren't filming at the time, you were just walking with a big heavy rucksack.
Well, I love it in Moolah. He used to sort his gear out on his hammock, and if he got really tired, he'd forget to clear all his gear before he went to bed. So he'd go to bed laying on all his gear. And I can remember one occasion I went and picked it all out while he was asleep and put it somewhere else. Yeah, absolutely focused.
I've managed to forget most of that, so don't try and keep back.
So you made loads of films, Sid, like a massive collection. Like, do you have one that you're just like, that's the one that I'm proudest, that's the one that, like, for me, is just the one that when I really think about the collection, I think that's the one that sort of, that's the one that I love.
Which one?
Which film?
Which film?
For you?
Spelling Genesis, is one.
It's fantastic.
Simply, I mean, it would be so nice to have to do it with modern gear and so on.
Absolutely.
But it was a one-off. Nobody had done anything like it before, and it got a lot of international acclaim. Never made any money, never won any big awards, but it did win awards. Yeah, won festival awards and jewelry prize and things like that. But it was shown on television years later in a short version. But that was nice because it was purely about the feelings for caving. And the other one is Breakthrough, because it was a real historic event in caving when the two Jeffs broke through.
Okay.
And I was actually in Mexico when it happened. The original, but they didn't go through. They could see a way through, and they passed a Wellington boot through so it could be seen. They knew you could get through.
Is that Kingsdale Master Cave?
No, this is the link between Gabriel and Inglebrook Cave, and right in the middle of Folders. And I got some guys from Burnley's in the morning because we'd had to cancel because of the weather weekend, and BBC were going to help us, and we're short of helpers. And I got these guys, would you like to help with a TV film? Oh yeah, and you'll get paid a pound or something. You actually get paid. And they were down God knows how many hours and waiting in the most cold, awkward, muddy situation while we'd gone through the squeeze, and we're sitting down, and there's Chris Gibb doing sound. And when the two Jeffs came through, the son from Ingleborough, I looked round, and Chris was going down with exposure, and I had to kick him to make him press the buttons on the recorder and point the microphone. And they came through, and then I got everything done, and I hear, "Bugger you, Sid Perou, we're going out." And bugger your gear. So a load of the gear was left down there, and all these helpers went off out. And I sat out, and it was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was just falling asleep in the one of those with this sort of airspace, but because it was such a real historic event, and it was so difficult to do. One other story with that is that I was just in the place nearest to the dig that I could load the camera, and the roof was just drippy. It's just boulder roof and drips everywhere, and I couldn't open the damn camera. And every time I opened it, I've got all this mud and water in my sleeves, and every time I opened it, I'd get mud in, I'd try and clear it out. As I cleared it out, more mud went in. And, if you get any dirt in the gate, it scratches. If you get wet on the film, it sticks. And so I remember saying to the two Jeffs, which I still get back, it's not bloody feasible. And I had another film crew waiting for them to film the exit. I had a crowd on the top with mofo and all this. It must have been about 50, 60 people involved probably. And I just suddenly decided it wasn't possible. And Jeff said, it's bloody got to be possible. Anyway, eventually I did it, and it got away with it.
I think one of the things that not enough people know is that all of Sid's films, pretty well all of Sid's films, are on YouTube. I don't know any other filmmaker that's done that and put all of their work publicly available.
Even whether they've got copyright or not.
Yeah. It's all up.
Sid, I didn't know anybody got paid. I never got paid. I never got paid. You owe me.
What was going to PNG like? So obviously it was this massive trip, and you sort of think about it now, like in 2017, the idea of someone going away for like 6 months on Expo is like almost unheard of, like it just doesn't happen. But you guys went off, like with nothing, like no way to communicate back, and just off you went to make this film and find these caves.
You'll remember, Andy, it all kind of started because there was a group of us in the Craven Heifer, and you and Tony White, and I think there were some of the wanderers there where we used to congregate on a Saturday night, and there was a dissent came out, and the dissent had an article about the rising in the Hindenburg Wall, and how many Q-Mix were coming out, and so on. An Australian paper had seen it, not done anything. And we said, well, talking about it, said, well, you know, it'd be great to have an expedition there must be a lot of depth potential. And it all took off from there when they started getting aerial photographs, and it went on. And we said, well, if we're going, it's no good going for 3 or 4 weeks, because it's a new area. It's going to take you that long to even start to suss it out. So let's go for 6 months. And because a lot of these guys were finishing university, and other people gave their jobs up and all this sort of thing to go. And I always see that particular expedition as the real starting point, you know, of all the sort of Southeast Asia stuff and nothing else. And it also completely changed the lives of just said what it went on it.
It was the start of my expedition career, but I don't really want to go into that because I'll finish up taking over this interview.
But what was interesting is there were 20 of us, there were 6 members of that team here last night, which is absolutely
fantastic. And we had a sort of reunion a month ago.
Yeah, I couldn't manage it, of course.
We told that. But they're all the ones that are still living, which is most of them are still living.
Anyway, if I'd have come, I'd only got a load of stories like Dick keeps telling me what he wants.
The wonderful thing that Sid did was actually make the film, and we had to buy the film stock ourselves. Yeah. I can't remember quite how we did it, but we had no financial help towards the film at all. We financed it entirely ourselves, bought all the film stock ourselves. We did everything, had no company behind us whatsoever. But Sid pioneered all of that. I mean, I probably pioneered the expedition, but Sid certainly pioneered the film. There would not have been a film without Sid.
No. And when we came back, I had all this film, knowing that it had been in hot conditions for a long time, and I had no money to process it, because the process is more expensive than the film. And so it was a couple of years before I got a couple of guys that worked for Yorkshire Television to do it, a couple of editors to actually put the thing together in their own time at night. And they started a company as a result of that, Chameleon Films. And then it wasn't that easy to sell, and when we did sell it, we didn't make anything out of it.
This is the story of Sid's life, you understand? He always set out to make a film, never had any money in advance, almost invariably, and when he came back, he never had any money either. So then he never made any money on it.
The New Guinea 75 film is Man Belong Hole, Belong Stone.
Man Belong Hole, Belong Stone.
It's a wonderful adventure film, I think.
We were there when Papua New Guinea became independent, and they had this big, massive feast at home, and all the tribes came in. And there was a wonderful moment when Sid was there, and a tribe came in from a place called Atbalmin, and they had these mud wigs and red ochre all over them, nothing much else except bows and arrows and stuff. And Sid's there with his film. And he went round it, and you could see
they
ran in a circle, and you could see suddenly it dawned on him that they're all around him, all these guys, clanging their bowstrings.
How many represent a snake catching his prey?
Yeah, it was.
Closer and closer, and then with their spear, and I was in the middle.
Yeah, we did get more drunk as well, which is another story. We've been sponsored by a homebrew company. So we took half a ton of homebrew materials out to Papua New Guinea, and we got thousands of people drunk at that independence.
No food, but plenty of homebrew. They chucked all the meat in the sea that we took tin meat, because it didn't pass certain Australian regulations.
Tin meat and dried milk they threw that away.
And butter and theoretically. Dairy products.
So we were living off TVP of animal grade most of the time, flavoured with anything we could.
And we definitely got malnutrition.
And the occasional animal that the locals caught there.
We all had diarrhoea most of the time, and we'd be having a conversation somewhere, and somebody just say casually, "Oh, sorry, I've got to stop. I've just shit myself."
I don't remember it being anywhere near that bad.
Maybe this is Sid's memory.
It was Chapman who started it because we were on the filling tent and my locals caught a possum and they cooked this possum. And the best, they saved the best bits of the possum to give to us, which were the lower end of the intestines and the bollocks. So, yeah. And we were all sat around the fire and we all politely declined this. And Chapman was in the sleeping area, hadn't been very well. And suddenly said, "Well, we'll give it to Phil." So it went through to Phil Chapman. And he said, "Well, what is it?" And he said, "Well, it's the guts and the bollocks." And he went, "Oh, I thought we were joking," whoever it was who took it. He was joking, so he ate it. And then he got giardia. And then he went off, before he developed the giardia, he went off back to telephoming to do his, he did a week at base camp on the road. And he went there and got giardia really badly. And I took over from him and I got it really badly. Went round everybody.
That isn't quite as I remember it.
Well, nothing ever is, but it's a good story.
So, if you had modern technology, which obviously we've got now, there are numerous people just in this room with different types of camera. There are new films coming out all the time. What do you think about the modern sort of day filmmakers?
I'd love to be out there doing it if I had the body left to do it, because I look particularly like the cave diving stuff that I did. Bloody great camera like this that has to be reloaded after 5 minutes of film, and then all this, so many things, speleogenesis, and the quality of the stuff you can get now, and the amount of you can do so much more with the lights just because they're smaller and lighter and so on. So I think the possibilities are enormous. And I said at the end of the talk, I said, well, it's up to you guys. I'll be out there doing it for sure if I could. And I'm not quite finished yet, but I can't do any hard caving these days. But what it's done, it's actually brought caving to a huge, much wider audience, because the spectacular shots that you've got from Eavis, from Angle, Soldin, and all this sort of stuff grabs people's imagination. And from the early days when cavers were just silly buggers that went down dirty muddy holes in the ground and got stuck, and that was it. That was the public opinion.
Well, that's what this weekend's all about. Is to try and change that public opinion.
Do you know any of the sort of modern day sort of cave filmmakers, or are they like people's films that you see or watch? Do you sort of look what's out there? Like there was opening Eavis here from Keith, there's loads of stuff going on at Hidden Earth.
My main grouse, in a way, about modern filmmaking is that getting nice pictures has become not all that difficult, but the editing, getting the shots is just like getting the bricks and the doors and this to build a house. And it's building a house that people don't do. And because GoPros very often have got no sound on them, they'll just, or the sound isn't very good, they'll just put entering music. And okay, it's nice now and again, but just 90% of the stuff that's out there. And they don't even use any natural sound. And I think the natural sound is what makes it come to life. Now you look at the Jill shot in Pippi Kid, and it's the sound that makes it. It makes it human.
I think you're right, absolutely.
It's a shame we haven't got Gavin here today, but Gavin came back from Thailand yesterday and went to Egypt this morning, so unreasonably he couldn't come in this weekend. But the plan was for Gavin to compliment Sid this morning, and Sid to do the history and Gavin to do the modern stuff, which would have worked.
That's the original idea.
But,
do you ever wonder if there's music? Because cavers, as you put it beautifully, are terrible actors. Do you think that if we were better at it, there would be...
Well, what this is about is, of course, when you're doing film, you've got to put captables on, run sound, run camera, all this stuff. It means that you can never. When we were filming when Sam Chambers, when I came into so far and I couldn't get a camera across the big dump, we're basically, yes, it was the first trip, but I couldn't film their real conversation. So I'd rather set up a light here, light there, and they used to redo that bit. And they were acting. Yeah. And it's never the same, you know? It's never the same.
He's getting at me. He's getting at me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because I'm an awful actor.
But it isn't just...
It's because I'm too honest, that's the trouble.
Yeah. I think that breakthrough moment was when you made Into the Labyrinth and you had that little handheld camera and you got real contemporary exploration stuff.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, oh, that was great, chaps, go and do it again because I've got to film it, and then you're acting. It was actually the people doing it at the time.
Yeah.
With a little camera, and it was, it was real. There wasn't.
You're talking about China.
Yeah, China.
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing about, I was just trying to remember the guy's name,
Graham.
Yeah, Graham. But he hated China, hated caves. Thought I didn't know what was.
He hated us, Sid, didn't he? He hated everything. Really.
Yeah, and he was trying to get me with a 100-foot road 16mm camera running alongside the camera. This cave is filming actuality, and apart from which he pinched my sound recordings most of the time, which was the only other technical guy I had to work with. So it was impossible. So I happened to have a high-end camera, and we filmed you and Tim. Was it you?
So me, Tim and Tony. It was,
Tony, yeah. And in a little breakthrough, and
I was holding the line.
There was real, all the piss taking, all the real caving. I mean, it was real people in real places, and he didn't use it. Or he used it, a bit, did it?
Yeah, he did use it.
A little bit of it, but not any of the.
Not on the lead up, they did the bit where we actually broke through, but they didn't.
They didn't do some of the.
No,
like when you went off to one side, got up to your knees in mud, and got stuck.
Well, no, Dick, you dubbed Sid in for loads of stuff, so I think it's perfectly good for Sid to. What's the funniest thing you've seen underground, overground, on X-bed, someone else do?
The
funniest thing, or stupidest?
Well, the funniest, the story I tell most is the Jill story at Pippikin. When we filmed in Pippikin, we were doing sync sound for the first time, and we put a microphone in our helmet, a little mini, like an electric microphone. Run the cable down to a wetsuit. And the original idea was you bring it out your foot and you had a long extension lead, and it went to because you couldn't use radio mics, it wouldn't work. So this went out of sight to the sound recorders, and we go through the tight squeeze, and we filmed it going in, and then we all had to go through, and we all on this little tiny chamber. The floor was absolutely full of people, and watching Jill come through, and I was there with the camera, and she. Instead of bringing out the foot, which was too difficult, she had a hole in the crotch of a wetsuit. So she'd actually got this lead coming out this hole in the crotch of a wetsuit, and she kept on taking it out and putting it back in, which was quite a sight in itself. And then she actually came through, and she has to come out, and she's got to grab the stemple, and then she straddles it. Well, at the meantime, I'm feeling around with my feet, trying to find somewhere I could go, and I couldn't. And suddenly I came aware everybody's laughing hysterically, and I'm headed down, and my camera was about a foot from her crotch. The eyepiece had steamed up, and as she'd opened her legs, it split completely from front and back, and I fell with a crotch from about a foot away. It went all around the BBC.
What about these two? Like both of these people who are sitting with, or both cavers in their own, like you've just given us a really good story. What about Andy? Like Andy's been on lots of trips with you. Like he's been the world's worst actor many times over.
Too honest, that's the trouble.
What is the best thing about going on expedition with him?
What's the best?
Yeah.
Best thing about going on expeditions with Andrew, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it says it all, that we're all good mates after all these years, you know. And in spite of all the things they've called me at various times, you know, we're still good friends, and you know, those friendships last.
The interesting thing there is that generally I was the expedition leader and Sid was the cameraman, and traditionally the expedition leader falls out to the cameraman or the director of the film. I mean, every expedition film that's ever been made, virtually, the expedition leader and the film director fall out, but we never have.
No.
So,
and you know, one of the things you find out is that when you're going on a trip, everybody wants the film because it helps them get sponsorship and so on. When you actually get there, the reality is, I mean, particularly in the days when I was doing it, the resources you actually needed to take out of the expedition to get that film was something the expedition didn't want to give. Andy was very good at it. Ben Norman wasn't. I remember Ben coming to Deer Cave and Saturday at Newlands saying, "You've got half an hour." And it was the most difficult bit of shooting all the time because it was so big, and I think
you had to accept that you did something once and then you did it again for the film. And that was the days. You had GoPros and things have changed that. And the epitome really was the rescue in New Guinea when we had a guy who fell on his head, and we reproduced that rescue. And it took much longer to reproduce the rescue than it did to actually do the original rescue.
Yeah, because I wasn't even there when it happened. I just arrived.
Nor was I, because I wasn't there. I was one of the few who wasn't there. I got put in a stretcher. So it's the only time in my life I've ever been in a stretcher. And it was the most awful. I've never done it since. And I star in the film, but nobody would ever know it was me.
Bandages all over his face. It was a huge advantage.
I always remember John Buchan saying we're miles from anywhere in the middle of New Guinea, and John Buchan, the doctor, who was brilliant, John did a piece on camera, and he says, I was seriously considering what I was going to do if there were signs of internal bleeding, and he said, and I was going to have to relieve the pressure, and about the only tool we had was a penknife, and he was going to drill a hole in his skull with a penknife to relieve the pressure.
I mean, you could see Krabby's skull through the cut. I mean, it was a real close call on John's part because we cut a helicopter pad. But actually, if we'd had to call in a helicopter, it would have bankrupted the expedition. And I think he knew that. And he had to make this decision as to whether we evacuated him or didn't. So
we cleared the helipad.
Yeah, Russell, yeah.
It was a brilliant
and we just monitored his vital signs. Every half an hour, we sort of slapped him about.
We saw him obviously a month ago, and he's not so good. He's a bionic man. He's got 2 hips, 2 knees, a kidney. He's got but he doesn't look very good. The one who did look good, which I should make a real point of, is Krabby. Krabby looked the best of everybody. So that's the guy who got injured.
He does.
We all needed a bang on the head.
He was the youngest member of the expedition, but he still is the youngest. I mean, he looked younger by far than any of us.
So it's not been taking the mickey out of people. He was also due to go on the Mulu 80 expedition, but he never even got there because he developed hepatitis on the way in and had to go. So he nearly ruined the New Guinea trip, then he nearly ruined the Mulu trip.
You filmed and met lots of different people, and like you filmed quite a lot of the divers sort of stuff, and like you met really sort of famous divers, some who aren't here today, sadly for a variety of reasons, and that's. What were sort of those experts like filming out in sort of the Bahamas and things like that? Like we saw images of it yesterday from Chris Jewell. And what was it like filming all the diving stuff?
Diving?
Yeah.
I mean, I was never a diver. And when I was doing the sort of cave diving series, most of the time what I'd done before was actually to give a camera to somebody. And they would do that all water shots, the cave divers themselves. It's safer that way anyway. But on the cave diving series, I actually decided to do a bit of underwater stuff and came within a hair's breadth of dying involved. I actually got through, did the filming, and was coming out. It was the last shoot on the cave diving series, and I was under a lot of pressure because of the politics in the BBC to get it finished. And I hadn't done enough training really. And I'm coming out, and I got the line tangled in my valve, and they pulled the valve out. And I was on a 45 degree, about that wide, 45 degree boulder slope. And I lost one gag, and I couldn't find the other. And I was actually, Watto was behind me, and he'd got, because somebody dropped out, he'd got 2 lighting packs, and he was bottom walking virtually with these, so I'd left him behind. And then he caught me up, and I was unconscious. He got in my mouth, and he quickly, without a gag, and he found the gag and put it in my mouth, and brought me to, and I then went into the next area, but I'm going smooth for air, because, and they used to say, if I say don't, because there might not be good air in it, you know, and that was the last cave diving I did.
It is remarkable you're still here, Sid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that your closest call?
You can't get much closer, sure.
Yeah, that was probably the closest. It's been a few occasions, you know, both in caving and the climbing stuff I did and other things at Michael Heights. I've had a number of close calls, but you know, nearly doesn't count, does it?
No, that's very true. Nearly is still just nearly, and it comes to
Especially when you're still hearing good health, Sid.
Yeah.
I've only got